Hello and welcome to the Brony Music History Podcast, the show which we discover the history of Brony music. This is episode 8, and today we're joined by Evdog. As we return to the land down under, we're talking with an artist whose long-standing involvement with the fandom crosses musical boundaries and is a real testament to the power of community and collaboration. With almost 100 songs released between his first fandom contribution in October of 2011 and him still being out here making tunes in October of 2021, this discography is deep, and we'll be diving into it throughout the show, including the first play of a brand new track. Evdog's appeared on Balloon Party and Ponies Dawn, and he's been a competitor in many Toastbeards, and also ran the Winter Wrap-Off competition between 2012 and 2014. His singing and guitar work has rocked stages across Australia at PonyConAu, SalvagecCon and Alicon, and all decked out in his OC's adorable little outfit. Please welcome to the show, Evdog.
Hey everyone.
Hello. How's your evening been?
Yeah, it's been all right. I was just doing some delivery driving work earlier in the day, and now I've just settled down, and it's been nice. How about yourself?
Yeah, good. It's nice to be meeting a guest at an actual normal time, and not waking up at 4 o'clock in the morning. But the wonders of Australia. All right, let's wind the clock all the way back. Were you a musician before you started in the pony fandom?
I was. So I, way back when I was 10, I joined my my church's music team, and so I was getting involved in that. And even before that, my dad was a musician, so he got me, interested in playing guitar and in using DAWs and musical programs and that. And then at the age of 13, I wrote my first song. It was like a comedy song about a guy who was just completely oblivious and kept on accidentally doing terrible things to his wife until she divorced him. And then from that, afterwards, I started just doing whatever, and then stumbled across. Have you heard of the website Overclocked Remix?
No, I have never heard of it.
Okay, so it's a site that's basically based around remixes of video game music and interpretations of video game songs. And so I was trying my hand at making remixes on there. It was never successful because while I guess the arranging and that was all right, my sound design and my mixing was atrocious. So I never got anything successfully passed in there. But yeah, that's what I was doing before 2010.
So you weren't just playing instruments, you were actually producing at that point.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so
cool.
My dad got me a pirated copy of Cubase.
Fuck yeah.
And so that's where I learned on. And so it's a bit of a clunky program, but if you can figure it out, then you can get things done. Then after a while, a bunch of Cubase programmers left, and they made PreSonus Studio One, and so I've been using that ever since.
Yeah, okay. And so so at this point in your life, you're sort of trying to make a bit of music, but not really getting too far. How did you just get into Pony?
Yeah, well, I think it was that I just stumbled across the memes online. Like everything was getting ponified, and it was like everywhere across the internet. So I gave it a shot, and all right, I'll watch. It's the typical this happens to a lot of people. Okay, I'll just watch the first episode. Okay, it's a two-parter. I'll watch the second episode. Okay, I'm at the end of the season.
And when you were watching, you were just hooked. You just really loving it. Yeah, mad.
Yeah.
And did you discover pony music soon after that, or did you sort of watch the show and have a bit of a disconnect?
I think after I watched the show, this is fuzzy memory because it's a while back, but
It has been a decade for reference.
Yeah.
So you started watching in season 1.
So I think maybe I stumbled across a handful of like covers and remixes that were out back then. So things like, Alex S's remix of the theme song. Um, I don't know what else would have been out by then, but that's probably how I found it.
Yep.
And yeah, I'm not exactly sure now. Now that you mention it, but eventually I did stumble across my little remix and all the music community.
Yeah, yeah. And so the very first song you released,
Mhm.
your very first fandom contribution was
Yeah.
an ocarina cover of the theme
Yes.
song, which was in October of 2011. So that's over a decade ago now.
And I still have the ocarina.
Wow. That is, if you're listening to the audio, the prop is on screen. We can verify. You can
Yeah.
cross-reference it with the video if you want. What made you want to take the plunge to actually make
Mhm.
music for yourself? Like
Um,
pony music for yourself?
yeah. Well, like I was interested in the content, so I figured like I was playing that ocarina pretty much all the time at that point in my life. I was learning a bunch of different songs, so I thought I'd do the My Little Pony theme, and I just put it up online, and a handful of people, not many people, but a handful of people saw it and upvoted it, um, and I think I shared it around Facebook. So yeah, at the time it was
Yeah.
all right.
And what were those? What did you find? Did you find a lot of like early sort of Brony music communities around that point to sort of support you and share that around?
Not that early.
Hmm.
I didn't like the biggest thing was my little remix, and
Yeah. So
for
what?
anyone who doesn't know, it's actually a website on like a standalone website that's a big forum filled with a bunch of the fandoms musicians from across the world.
And My Little Remix is still active today, and this show is
Yeah,
fully archived on My Little Remix. That's where I based that, and I think I'm the only person posting there at the moment. But you know,
nice.
yeah, yeah. So, and when you
Yeah,
found that, what was your immediate thought about the community, and all that?
I guess just like wow, there's so many more people like me. Um, yeah. Um, so yeah, you were saying that I came in season one.
Yep.
So I was watching it, I believe, once season one had already come out,
Oh, okay.
and it was the break between one and two. And I remember that I I'd been watching it all the way through, and then I learned about the local meetups, and so I went to my first Brony meetup, but I hadn't watched the last two episodes of season one, and I remember a bunch of people singing at the gala, and I was kind of feeling left out because I didn't know all the words at the time.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, okay. What was those? Because for people that don't know, Australia is a very separate country. Like our capital
Mm,
cities are thousands of kilometers from each other, and
yeah.
so we tend to have like when we have our in real life communities, they tend to be like very separate. So were you in Melbourne at the time?
Yes.
Yeah, right.
I've actually been in Melbourne, like in Victoria, for the last 10 years. Actually, pretty much all my life.
Yeah, right.
Um, yeah. So basically, each capital city had their own group of people. There was the Melbronies, there was the Bronies of New South Wales. I think there was a very small Canberra Bronies group. Adelaide, I think Queensland. There was barely anyone in Tasmania, and there was a group of people in Perth, but we couldn't really interact with them in person because Perth is so far away.
Yeah, of course. Did you meet any other
Mm.
musicians in real life in those early days, or would that sort of come later when conventions became a thing?
Mm. Um, way early on, I think the only Brony musicians that were in Melbourne was me and West J. So West J is the. I'm pretty sure he still runs
Philadelphia
Philadelphia
radio.
Radio.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and yeah.
Is a
So back then he was making music and remixes and stuff, but I don't think he does that nowadays, as far as I know.
No.
Hmm.
No, it just does that. Yeah, cool. And so you were making like quite diverse music at that point.
Yeah,
I mean,
was.
you you've never really particularly stopped making diverse music. But you
Mm.
did, you were playing some acoustic stuff. You're also doing a lot of mashups.
Mm-hmm.
Some of which are very good. Is there a reason why you didn't sort of peg yourself down into a genre and just sort of chose to make a little bit of everything?
I suppose it's more so that I follow the ideas that I get. So if I have an idea, I'll be like, okay, I'll see if I can do that, and I'll try and get it down and get it done, and then put it out. And that may not necessarily be sonically consistent, but I feel that if I just try and limit myself to a style, a genre, um, then I can't. Then the things that aren't in that I make, I don't really know what to do with. So it's
Yeah.
easier for me to just follow whatever the musical ideas I get, and then just put them out.
Yeah. Okay. And just throw things on the table, like regardless of how it is going to sound. Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
All right.
And if I'm not actually able to produce that on my own, then I'll just find other people who can help with that.
Yeah. And let's talk about collabs for a moment because you
Hmm.
sort of very quickly sort of started doing collabs. I think a lot earlier than many.
Oh, really?
Well, like, yeah, so many of the guests that I've interviewed so far have said like didn't really know how to do it, didn't really know how to work together with other people,
Hmm.
like, and doing collabs and remixes. Yeah, like it's like you've got collabs with Jackalap and what is it Jackalap or
I don't think I ever collabed with Jackalap,
hang
but I
on.
did a song sampling Jackalap.
Oh, okay, right. That's what that one's about.
Mhm.
Yeah. So, like, were you like finding like that you were networking on My Little Remix and finding people to do that, or was that in other groups or like on Skype or something like that?
Yeah. So early on, it was largely My Little Remix, and they had an IRC. Are you familiar with what an IRC is?
Yeah, I arrived at the very end of the IRC era of Pony. But can you
Yeah.
just explain what an IRC relay is for any of our
Okay.
post 2017 post Discord Pony fans?
Yeah. So an IRC is basically, imagine just a text chat that kind of looks like the old DOS screens, just people posting comments under comments, and and that's basically it. Sometimes they might add like little programs and bots in the same way that you'd add little bots to Discord, but um, it's much simpler UI, much more basic.
And yeah, that like simple and basic is, I think, putting it quite bluntly. Like, I mean, Discord has,
Yeah.
in many ways, like superseded the function of
Hmm.
IRC in basically every single pony community
Yeah.
that still exists today. But like that
And
was so important.
yeah. Also, I remember you saying like you used the phrase like IRC era and Discord era, and I think that's pretty apt because you can basically, with Brony music, um, you could put it into three main eras, like the IRC slash My Little Remix website era, the Skype era, and the Discord era.
Yeah, it's one of those things where technology has, in a very subtle way, I personally think just really influenced the way that we produce and consume music in the fandom. And
Yeah.
do you have any memories of the sort of those early Skype days and what sort of groups you were in around then?
Yeah, so with Skype, there was this big My Little Remix mega Skype group, and it had probably 200 people in it. So it was quite big, and it was generally mostly active on American times and European times, and then in, I guess, Oceania times, it was largely dead.
Yep.
So, um, like that's, I guess, how I met a handful of the more Australian musicians, because they were on at that time. And if I stayed up late, I could meet with a bunch of the American musicians. But I rarely got a chance to interact with the European ones, just because they were always asleep.
Yeah.
And if I wanted to, say, direct message them, then it would be ping pong. I would send a message to them and then wait, the next day to get a message back. So
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. Oh god. Yeah. The European Australian time zone, not fun. Yeah,
no.
gosh, I fully understand that.
Mm. Yeah, but I did meet quite a few people there. From memory, the people that I was pretty close to at the time were Automatic Jack and Freewave, and I think also Siriki, but Siriki kind of disappeared after a while.
Yep, yep. Yeah, and so in 2012,
Hmm.
you started organizing Winter Rap Off,
Mm.
which was a weekly rap, well, no, not weekly, a monthly rap competition.
Yeah.
Talk to us about the origins of Winter Rap Off and how that got
Okay.
started.
So Winter Wrap Off came out of the idea of like seeing the Toastbeards, and I thought, why don't we do something for that, like that, but with rap? Because I suppose there wasn't much rap at that time, aside from a handful of people like Mike the Mike and Yelling at Cats and a handful
Automatic
of people like that.
Automatic Jack was rapping at that point as well. Yeah,
I think so, yeah.
yeah.
Um, so I thought, hey, I'll try my hand at running a little contest and see how it goes. And it got hosted on this website called um, Equestrian Beats, or EQ Beats, which basically it's like what Pony FM is now, but with a less sleek design.
And Pony FM is not a particularly sleek design either, so I think that
No, it was even less than that. So
yeah, yeah. And what did you feel like the reaction was to the competition in 2012?
yeah, I think the people that were involved in it really liked it. But that said, there weren't many people that were involved with it. I think the first month had 8 people in it, and then from there onwards, in 2012, I think it ran for 5, maybe 6 months to start, and it just ended up averaging about 4 or so entries each time. And so it ended up just, I lost motivation, and um, it ended up just kind of petering out. And then I tried reviving it in 2013, and that went for a few months and then petered out. And then I tried in 2014 one last time, and that, I think, ran 4 months and then petered out.
Yeah,
So
yeah. And
hmm,
yeah, it's an interesting story because rap, I think, it's had a bit of a resurgence in the fandom in the past couple of
hmm,
years.
yeah,
But it's never
especially. Oh yeah, sorry.
it's never really been like the fandom genre, or
Hmm,
the fandom style.
hmm.
Do you have any ideas why you think that is?
Why rap wasn't?
Yeah,
Um, I suppose for a long time, like EDM was dominant, especially like dubstep was big, especially around 2012. That was the genre at the time, and uh, rap, and then the rap scene that was there. I think Mike on a previous episode was talking about this. Um, they were trying to replicate the US kind of rap scene where they're all dissing each other and trying to puff themselves up, and that that kind of toxicity, like adversarial nature, doesn't really mesh well with a fandom that's all about love and tolerance and friendship. So that could be a reason behind it.
yeah, okay, interesting. And it's and I think the modern pony rap community just doesn't. There is no
Yeah.
drama. It's just people making
Mm.
music, and I
A lot more collaborations as well.
yeah, yeah. And that's a fascinating little case study of
Yeah.
sort of the rise and fall of well, the rise and fall and rise again of a genre in the fandom.
Yeah.
Um,
And I think also I know a handful of the reasons why Winter Wrap-Off wasn't successful, like structurally. So first of all, in retrospect, um, they had to make their own beat as well as rap, and so that was a big barrier to entry for a lot of people because some of the rappers were just rappers; they weren't producers as well, and to go and find a producer that would make a thing probably a bit difficult. I also, for some reason, decided to have a no cursing rule, which I mean for rap it doesn't. Yeah.
oh, the mistakes of youth.
um, so that probably made people think, that probably made it think it was more kiddie than it was. So yeah. And also the winner of each month got to choose the next month's theme. And I think that may have given the person who won an advantage for the next month. So yeah. A bunch of those things, if I could have done it better.
Yeah.
But what's past is past.
Yeah, that's it. And we pick ourselves up and we dust ourselves off and we try again.
Yeah.
we all learn from that. Yeah, cool. So that's the fandom, one of the fandom projects that you've founded, but you've also been involved in other fandom collaborative projects.
Yeah.
Most notably Ponies at Dawn and Balloon Party. So your first Ponies at Dawn release was on the first Ponies at Dawn album, Hold Your Rainbow. What was the early Ponies at Dawn like, and how did you feel about getting involved?
So at that point, when the first Ponies at Dawn came out, Balloon Party was big. Balloon Party was like the album at the time, and so then along came this little Australian, Ponies at Dawn, saying, "Hey, we're gonna do what the first Balloon Party did, raise money for people to go to cons, but for Australians." And at that time, yeah, it was really small, and so it was like, well, this thing that I was planning, like this song that I've got isn't gonna get on Balloon Party, so I'll put it onto Ponies at Dawn and see how that goes, and it got on. But that has completely changed nowadays. Balloon Party is gone,
Dead.
and yeah,
And we piss on its
there's a reason
grave.
why. I'll get back to that. Um, and now Ponies at Dawn has basically replaced and is the monolith in the fandom at the moment.
Yeah, and so you talk about not having a track that was good enough to get on Balloon Party, but you did eventually get onto Balloon Party in, wait, hang on, for Rainbow and Rooted, which was Evdog and Friends, Made Up Your Mind. Can you tell us a bit about Made Up Your Mind and what was going through your head when you're planning that? And actually, it says Evdog and Friends. Who is the actual artist on the collab?
Okay, so there were 6 people, including me, on that collab, and to put every single person's name on there would have been way too long. So it was me, Meta Joker, Automatic Jack, Rainbow Jack, Jesse Carlson, and Oliver Lakota.
And that is a solid list of people.
Hmm.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
it was a mega collab to try and get on Balloon Party, and obviously that went well for
Yeah.
you.
So with that album, with that song, I took the idea from that Super Speedy Cider 6000, was it? Did I get
Yep.
that right?
No,
Yeah,
super speedy cider squeezy 5,000.
that's right.
Just forgot the
Yeah.
squeezy.
So it was that episode and the whole like Flim and Flam being charlatans, and um, so I got this idea, and I made that all with MIDI instruments initially on my computer, and then I got other people, all the other collaborators. I sent them a MIDI file saying, "Hey, here's a MIDI version of what I've got in my head. Would you be able to record it for real?" And then they sent back to me a WAV file of what they recorded, and then I put that in to replace it. And that's why it sounds so authentic, because it's actual real instruments.
Okay, that's cool. That's a fun little tidbit of trivia that I hadn't heard before. Ah. All right,
Yeah.
well let's give this one a spin. Let's play some music.
Sure.
20 minutes into the show. Evdog and friends, made up your mind.
Well, brother of mine, it looks like we have some sort of competition on our hands. That we do. Why don't we give them a taste of what we're capable of? Track 12? Track 12. Excellent choice, brother. We've come into town, show to everyone we're the best around. Why don't we test and see that your product matches our quality? Think fast, don't be lost, or your opportune moment will come and pass. You don't like it, well that's okay, cause you made up your mind anyway. Hey! Come on! They say that home is where the heart is. Well, our heart is mass produced, and the greatest part is our labor's been reduced. It doesn't take a bit of trial to show the best supply. Bring the best, succeed in style, and that's the reason why we've come into town. Show to everyone we're the best around. Why don't we test and see that your product matches our quality? Think fast, don't be last, or your opportune moment will come and pass. You don't like it, well that's okay, cause you made up your mind anyway. Take it away, automatic jack. Play that scratch, Jeffy. Oliver, your turn. That's one smooth face, Rainbow Jack. Oh, we've come into town to show to everyone we're the best around. Why don't we test and see that your product matches our quality? Think fast, don't be lost, or your opportune moment will come and pass. You don't like it, well that's okay, cause you made up your mind anyway. We've come into town to show to everyone
Damn. What a like a collab that just so many Australians on that collab. Like far out.
Yeah. So yeah, Rainbow Jack, I'm pretty sure was Australian, and Oliver Lakota was.
And I mean, 3 out of 6 is a lot for
Yeah.
a very small country.
Oh, so when I was making that as well, Metajoker wrote his own verse. So I had a little placeholder thing there in the meantime, and I'd forgotten about it, but Oliver Lakota had remembered, and he told me for basically in the little space where Metajoker put his verse, I had something along the lines of I'm thinking maybe Metajoker can find something to put here. I don't know, maybe some verse or some kind of dialogue. We'll figure it out later. Yeah.
Just do like a skibbity infill where it's like, oh yeah, skibbity, 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 skoo. Okay, and so on the Australian community, you've performed live at,
Yes.
I think most of the Australian cons we've had, or possibly all of them, including the first one in PonyCon. Yeah. Oh, here we go. Here's the lanyard.
So I've got a lanyard here, and it has all the Australian Brony conventions that I've been to. Sorry, podcast listeners, but so here is PonyCon 2013. These two are PonyCon 2014 and 2015. And there's Alicon 2018 and 2019.
Yep.
And also, this says League of Legends, but it's actually for SalvagecCon.
Oh yeah. Which is a whole story in itself. So yeah. did you play at every single one of those?
Yeah, every single one of those. There was a SalvageCon 2.0 that I wasn't able to make it to, but all the other ones, I was there and I played at them. So
yeah. Right. And so your on stage presence is quite often just with you playing a guitar and having a sing over it and doing some of your more acoustic stuff. What was that first PonyConAu like for you as a musician?
I was a bit nervous. Some of the songs that I was playing, I look back on the footage and I was speeding up more than I was in my head thinking I was playing. So yeah, I was a bit nervous up there, but it was still fun. Still fun to do. I got a story about the 2013 con. So here I've got the convention booklet from 2013, and it's got a little map of the building.
And it's a big circle.
So down the bottom it's a circle, and up the top it's a ring. And I decided to bring along these business cards that had my name and my YouTube link and SoundCloud and all that. And for some bizarre reason, I printed 1,000 of them.
Yep.
And so I was just handing out a handful to different people. There was only like 500 people at that first con in 2013, and just handing them out one by one to people. And one of the days I was walking up in the top ring, and a handful of people were at the soundboard for the stage, and they were like, "Hey, give us a bunch of your cards! Come on!" And so I gave them a handful, and they started flicking them out over the balcony into the main area. And it probably annoyed the people, like the cleanup crew, but it ended up getting a lot of people looking at these cards and picking them up. And then a lot of people started listening to my music after that. And I thought that was hilarious.
Make it rain. Oh yeah. And so there's multiple cons. Did you feel like you learnt sort of in Australia we were sort of traditionally had one con a year, or maybe two if it was a boom year, so it was a big gap.
Accurate.
A big gap between your convention performances. Do you feel like you were sort of iterating every time?
Like I was what?
You were iterating every time, like you're getting better.
I suppose, yeah. I tried to always shake it up and keep it different for each one. The first one, it was largely acoustic sound. The second one, we had actually got a band together and we played Made Up Your Mind, and that was really fun. Uh, and and then the second half, I think I was just singing along to backing tracks. So yeah, that was very different to the 2013 con. And the 2015 one, I don't exactly remember what I. Oh yeah, so I had the pony tones, which Ichigochi would have mentioned when she was on. We all got these little bow ties and little green jumpers, and we sung "Got the Music" and "You'll Make Your Mark" and the Rainbow Rocks theme, and I think one other one. And that was the first section of my set, and that was really fun. I got to we all got to do this 4-part harmony thing.
Yeah, yeah, and
And
it's
yeah.
always cool seeing those sort of big groups come together on stage. Because like it's one thing to see one person play their own music, but to see a whole band play some tracks and smash through them, some of that's just sick. Yeah, very cool. Yeah. And let's move. Oh, let's play another song.
Okay.
So yeah, then the next song you suggested to play was "Nothing Without You," which is featuring the L Train.
And I think I played that with L Train at 2015.
Yeah. So did you meet L Train beforehand through online or like at the convention?
So I would have met him online here and there, I think, beforehand. And I think we actually. No, it would have been 2015 because I have this T-shirt from 2014 and it's got every single person who played there.
Yeah.
And doesn't look like L Train's
No.
on there.
There we go.
Yeah. So it would have been 2015 that we met in person.
Yep.
But I think we were talking online before that.
Yeah, sweet. And so this is another Balloon Party track released on Academy of Power. And it's another bloody fucking gigantic collab piece. So it's L Train, Vinyl Love, Biscayne, and Winter Moose. What was the vibe going into that, like collaborating with so many people?
Yeah. So L Train was doing all the guitar work, and also some vocals. Biscayne was doing some vocals himself. Winter Moose, I think, was the producer, and then Vinyl Love did some of the wubs. But yeah, it was really fun. Fun to do that. And I think initially I had wanted to get
Tombstone.
I think it was that I initially wanted to get Tombstone to help with that.
Tombstone and Freewave.
That sounds right.
Yeah, it's in the description of the video.
Yeah. Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, but a lot of the, I guess you could say, first wave musicians like Mike, Glaze, Tombstone, Jackalap, etc., they had their own friendship circle, and we had ours. And back in the day, we kind of had this idea that they were the elite.
They were the horse fame people.
Yeah, the horse famers that didn't have time for us peasants. But I look back on it, and it's probably just they had their friendship group and we had ours, and those just didn't really interact often.
And it's one of the things that I found quite surprising when I first started interacting with the music community, and I guess I'm still surprised by now, even though I shouldn't be. Is like how approachable like even like big people are, even it literally, if you just make the effort to walk up to them, they will interact with you like a normal person. It's just that most people just don't make the effort to do that because they're like, oh, they're too big for me to talk to them. It's like, no, fucking message the people you love because they will respond and talk to you like a person. Anyway, that's a whole nother story. Let's play this track. So yeah, from Academy of Power, Nothing Without You. Yeah. And this one slaps. I really like this one.
Yeah, and so just before that, there's a little bit in the middle which kind of has a Tombstone EDM vibe, and that was kind of just a nod to the fact that I'd asked Tombstone to be a part of it, and he said no. So,
ooh, spicy. All right.
So yeah.
Tell me where to go. Tell me what to say, 'cause I don't really know. I need your guiding opinion. Yeah. Leave the thinking to a start a better guy. Your word is wisdom, so we'll never even try. Why don't you just take to me? Yeah. I got no mind of my own. I threw it away long ago. Tell me where to go. Tell me what to say so I can say to you, no. How many deep did you owe now? Yeah. After all, acting so depraved. Time to take him down and send him to the grave. Told me you treat me like a fool now. But still, I've got no mind of my own. I threw it away long ago. No, I don't wanna think for myself. You want me to think for myself. You see, I need to think for myself. You show me how to think for myself. No, I don't wanna think for myself. You want me to think for myself. Independent. No, I just wanna work with you. I don't wanna be independent. No, I just I'm nothing without you. I guess I'm nothing without you.
Nothing. Whoa, oopsies.
Oh, spoilers.
Spoilers. There's another song. Yeah. So I guess you were around. You'd been around from the start. But then sort of about 5 or 6 years in, you took quite a large hiatus from making music.
Yeah.
What was the story behind that?
Okay, so that wasn't really all that intentional. So I'd met who's now my wife through Ponies, and we got married, and then I moved out of house, and we both ended up going into this share house, and it had like at least two other people in it at any one time, and it was like quite a small house. So if I sung music and that, it would just, bother the other people. And there was barely any space to set up any music equipment, and the environment there was a bit stressful. So I just I couldn't really make music at that time, um, even though I wanted to. And also, this was a bit around the time where it was shifting from the Skype era to the Discord era, and I didn't get the memo. So I was looking at all these, the Mega Skype and all the other little groups that I was in, and they were pretty much dead. And I was, every now and then, like, "Hey, is anyone here?" And maybe there'd be like a handful of comments every now and then, but it was pretty much dead. And I thought, "Oh, is Pony Music dead now? Is it gone? What happened?" Um, and so yeah, I guess I didn't get the memo. And then after we moved out of that place around 2018, yeah, I set everything up. Was able to have a dedicated place to put my computer and my music equipment, and a time and space to record that it wouldn't bother other people. So I got back in. The Skypes were still dead. I think I might have been using Discord for like hanging out with friends and that. But then I contacted a few musicians that I knew and said, "Hey, are there any Brony Discord groups, like, or Brony music Discord groups?" And quite quickly I got, "Oh yeah, here's Ponies Dawn, here's State of Sugar, here's Cider Party," uh, and then suddenly I was back in, and there everyone was, and so I was like, "Great, let's start jumping in again."
Yeah, awesome.
And a fun little fact, that, with that little hiatus, in that 2-year period, Woodlaw showed up, released his entire discography, nuked his channel, and disappeared in that entire time. So I never got to actually meet Woodlaw.
Yeah, right. Oh, there we go. Did you find that things were different when you came back? Did things sort of feel different between that sort of 2016 and 2018 when you came back?
Yeah, I can agree with that. Back earlier in the time, you've probably gotten other people. I'm pretty sure, like Fuzogs and Mike and that have said this, that it felt a lot more competitive, especially with Equestria Daily. There was a lot of this trying to get the music feature, or the in the music of the day posts, and that would be like I guess a status symbol, or symbol that you are horse famous or whatever. And there were the balloon parties, but they were limited. Only a handful of people managed to get on. And so, and also, the horse famous people would interact and collab with each other, but they wouldn't interact with the lesser known people. And I actually have a collab that I did with was Finn and Razza and Next Gen that was called the Equestria Daily Anthem, and that basically sums up the culture of the time. That people were like all this EDM, all this electronic stuff was getting to EQD, and in the same way that you might have heard people say in Australia, the Triple J has a style.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah. So in a similar kind of vein, people were thinking, okay, EQD has a style that they're after, and all the other kind of stuff, like even rap at the time, or you know, some
Instrumental orchestral.
experimental stuff. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. That really didn't get on there all that much, and so people were thinking, you know, is this music, curator people? And I didn't actually know that Mike was one of those people. Are they playing favorites? Are they selecting, people that they like instead of, the quality of their music? And that probably wasn't the case, but there was a perception that that was the case.
Yeah. And so that
Um,
was different when you came back.
yeah, so a lot of it was less, I guess, individual focused, and trying to up your sub count, and yeah, and all that. And it was more about collaboration and being, there were community albums like Ponies Dawn, State of Sugar, Cider Party. Um, there's a handful of other ones I can't think of, like Vibe Ponies. Let me actually look through the Discord. Um,
Equinity.
I think Noise Horse as well,
Yep.
Brony's for Good, so on. So it was a lot more based around, you know, let's do an album based on this thing, or here's the regular albums that come out. Let's put something onto there for that. Um, and in a way, that's good. It's very different mentality. It's a lot more collaborative. Um, it still kind of has that, exclusivity factor to it. Like actually, I've been trying to get stuff onto the Ponies Dawn albums since Skywood, I think, and I haven't been able to. Back in the day, I used to get it on really easily, and now I can't get on it all. Except for that one collab I did with Francis Vase. But yeah, so there is that exclusivity factor. But I think if you have any kind of iteration, any kind of system, there's going to be that showing up anyway. So
Yeah.
that you can't really avoid that.
Yeah. And yeah, like we are it's still an incredibly competitive fandom, but also
Yeah.
you can still just release songs to your YouTube and
Exactly.
just still like learn and do that the same way. And yeah, like it's just, I think it's just almost a psychological thing as much as anything else, that like, you just put music out there anyway. And yeah, so
Is it all right? Can I just go on a tangent a little bit?
yeah, go for it. That's what this show's for. This whole show's a fucking tangent.
Yeah. So earlier I was saying I get back to Balloon Party. Um, so
I want to do a
a bit of
full. I want to do a full balloon party dissection at some point.
yeah.
So like we're gonna. That is on the list of things to do.
Yeah. So the thing is, like with the first one, it was like to raise money to get people to cons and that. But after that first one was a success, the people running it, I'm pretty sure it was Circuit Fry and a couple other people. They had the idea. Okay, well that one went well. Let's do some more, and let's have them all be, after, in the style of each of the main six. So the first one, Balloon Party, Pinkie Pie, very like hype, energetic, this hard. It was the mantra for that. Second one, Rainbow and Rooted, or Rainbow Dash, fast, speed and style. Third one, Academy of Power, or very technical and polished, and all that, after Twilight Sparkle. And then the fourth one was Equine Morality. That was supposed to be like Applejack, very homely, very acoustic, authentic kind of sound. Uh, and so people were thinking, the next one's going to be either a Rarity one or a Fluttershy one. Yeah, but at some point during the between people submitting to Equine Morality and Equine Morality getting released, within that window, the ownership of Balloon Party got transferred from, I think it was Sacrifice Steel, I'm not 100% sure, but whoever it was got transferred to Silverhound. And Silverhound must not have known about any of that, because he made this announcement on My Little Remix saying, "Hey guys, I'm in charge now. Also, Equine Morality is now not Balloon Party 4, it's Balloon Party 3.5. So get out all your Applejack as a background pony jokes." And then now, as Balloon Party 4, we're releasing Chromatic Horizons. Now, I don't know if you've listened to Chromatic Horizons, have you?
Not in depth, no.
Okay.
I've
So
listened to Chromatic H32, and now that is an album.
So all the previous ones, they're like massive, like 70 to 100 tracks. They got samples. They've got lyrics about pones and all that. This was a CD length album of EDM with no samples, no lyrics, and barely any pony references. And
did you submit to that one?
No,
Yeah,
I didn't. They were really after just like EDM basically, and then that didn't go all that well. It wasn't well received. Not many people bought it, and so I guess Silverhound's response was, "Well, I guess nobody cares about Balloon Party anymore," and then that was the end of Balloon Party.
Yeah.
So Fluttershy and Rarity never got their albums.
Never got made. No, but I mean that's what Pinkamena Party's for. Because we eventually got a Fluttershy Pinkamena Party album. With Fluttershy's Paradoxically Soft Tea Party. And so in my eyes that is Balloon Party 5.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Pinkamena Party was always in the background of Balloon Party at the same time. So yeah, I guess that outlasted it.
The parody album that outlasts the original album.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. That's I absolutely. Balloon Party is a head fuck. As someone who hasn't joined the fandom after Balloon Party had finished, trying to decode like what actually happened, and that's a whole episode in itself. Like 100%. Like I'm gonna try talk to Lav and Silver and maybe Circuit Fry about that, because oh my god, that'd be fun. Anyway, that's it. That's in the future. When you came back in 2018, that was also the time that the Australian Brony fandom decided to revive the conventions for a little bit.
Yeah.
Had conventions changed? Sort of from those early conventions to what Alicon would be in 2018 and 2019.
In a way, it was kind of like a second verse to the first verse. Because there was, PonyCon 2013, 2014, 2015, and then the PonyConAu, which then went under and had to refund people. And then about a team of people got together to try and make a mini con in 8 days, which good on them. And that became SalvagecCon. And then there was that gap of like between, I guess, the end of 2015 to the start of 2018, where there was just nothing. But 2018 Alicon and then 2019 kind of felt like a repeat, but with a more modern repeat of 2013 and 2014 PonyCon. It had like that kind of, I guess, grassroots, small knit yet fun vibe to it.
Yeah, absolutely dinky. I think dinky dinky's a pretty good way to do with it. And as sort of that was my first convention in 2018, and seeing just how many Australian artists were at that convention who were literally at the top of their fields for their respective genres, and also people who were there but just weren't performing but were also just amazing producers. Why do you think Australia has had such a density of Brony artists?
Sorry, you cut out a bit there.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm just saying, just being there, just seeing all of these Australian pony artists, like many of whom are sort of at the top of their field. Why do you think Australia had such a density of pony artists?
I'm not 100% sure because in the early days, like before PonyCon 2013, it was basically dead. There was, I think there was like me, West J, Replacer, but he was like in New Zealand, not even in Australia. Stable Free, maybe
Feather,
Feather, yeah, Feather as well.
Was Stormwolf around then?
Croatia, yeah, Stormwolf as well.
Yeah,
Um,
but like
and
even
so
for
that was basically us.
but for for a country with 22 million people, that's quite a
Mm,
significant list of names. Anyway, if you don't have
yeah,
any
and then
thoughts,
it increased more.
yeah, I'm gonna keep asking this question to all the Australian guests
Yeah, sure.
because it's always fascinated me. Just I look, as a proud Australian, I think we punch above our weight, and
Yeah,
I've never been able to figure out why, but
yeah.
yeah, I'm gonna keep asking until I get an answer because
Maybe
yeah.
maybe it could be that Ponies Dawn exists.
Hmm.
Could be part of it. That's helped the Australian community
Yep.
because um, like a lot of it was more America focused and also like Europe, tangentially Europe focused um, early on. And now that Ponies of Dawn is like the main album, there's a lot of Australian talent in that, and I guess that could be a factor.
Yeah, I definitely think it's one of the things, especially for the modern Australian community. But there's still that
Mm,
early period before Ponies at Dawn that just can't be explained by that. But anyway, that's a.
yeah.
Well, I'm gonna have once. I think if I interview more artists, we're gonna slowly chip away and get to the bottom of it. But yeah, we'll get there eventually. And so
Yeah.
look, you're still out here making music in
Hmm.
2021. Like yeah, dab that shit because that's the good stuff. That's what we like to see in our pony artists. What about the show and what about the community has kept you going for a decade of making fandom music?
Yeah. So I've enjoyed the show. I've pretty much watched most of the episodes. I think there was one episode I didn't watch all the way through. It was that one. I don't even remember what season it was, but like Twilight was trying to sleep and Spike was trying to stop other people from waking her up. Um, yeah, I couldn't sit through that one, but I've sat through pretty much every other episode, and I enjoy the show, and I've enjoyed the community as well, especially the music side of the community, and yeah, it's been a fountain of inspiration, and so is all the Toastbeards and the Remix Wars. They've been very helpful to come up with ideas and stuff for music. So yeah, does that answer the question?
Oh yeah. Like community
Yeah,
is a reason for so many people. Yeah. Well, that's
absolutely.
fair enough. It's yeah, just like I'm 22. Like a decade of my life
Hmm.
is almost half is yeah, almost half my life. And like,
Yeah.
I've been in this fandom for what, just over 5, 6 years now. And
Hmm.
just like 5 and 6 years feels like a long time, but a decade feels even longer. And I'm just always so curious to hear about that. And so
Mm.
yeah, like you're still out here making music, and you've
Yeah.
offered to play us a track which hasn't been played before.
Yeah.
Yeah, talk us through another round.
Okay. So another round is a song that I've written, but I won't be producing. Wasteland Whalers will be. And so I'd heard on Ponies of Dawn, there's a song by them called Daremaster. Uh, it's it's sung by Brittany, and
Ackerman. Yep.
it, yeah, I believe so. And it's all about her trying to track down a con man who was like left her to take the fall and ran off with a bunch of money. So at the time, like when I heard that, I and so I was also doing a bachelor in music in the past, and in that I learned about jazz standards. So I had this idea come into my head of, I guess, a prequel to Daremaster that would be her, going around and investigating and trying to find leads. And so, yeah, eventually Wasteland Wales is going to produce it. I probably would already be released if COVID didn't hit. So,
The
but
classic.
hopefully after COVID they can all get together and make it, and then probably release it to an album.
Well, fucking sick. So yeah, here we go. First ever public play of another round. Let's do it.
So yeah, when you're listening to this, imagine Brit's voice instead of mine. Let's talk about the weather. It's been awful cold a lot. Ever been to New Appaloosa? It's not too cool and not too hot. Let's talk about our families, you from round these parts. I've got a few searching for me, but I'm searching for lonely hearts. So let's open the champagne and we'll drink to our remains, to the pleasure and the pain of this cruel world. Maybe I'm just lonely because I'm no charity, but something about you is special. Here, have another round on me. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. You say you know this city well. There's much go on round here. I've heard it's on the safe side, but even so, ponies disappear, from what I hear at least. I look around this local, it seems so full of life. Hey, wasn't there some sort of punch-up? Huh, oh really? A stallion pulled a knife? Well now I've just gotta know, how did all that ruckus go? But it must have been quite a show for you to witness. Maybe it's luck I met you tonight, or maybe destiny. But now I feel a little less lonely. Here, have another round on me. And then there's a little instrumental part with a lot of instruments playing solos, but I'll just skip that bit because otherwise it's me playing for a whole minute. And you say that you know the guy? Sounds like a strong specimen. You gotta introduce me sometime to, what was his name again? I can't remember. And is he lean or burly? It matters to a lady. And how does he wear his mane? And what color too? And any idea where I could find him on, any particular day? Your charisma has such an intoxicating touch. I'd be grateful, oh so much, if you'd help little old me. Now you may think you're no one, well you ain't no one to me. You're an excellent conversationalist. Did anybody ever tell you that? Have another round on me. You look so cute in the ground down there, but I've got somewhere I need to be. So, thank you kindly for your intel. Here, oh, I'll just leave it on the table. Have another round on me.
Wow, wow, wow. That's
Thank you.
that's a cool insight into the I guess into the production process, because you said Brit is going to sing on that. So
Yeah,
did,
that's the plan.
did you write the vocals on that for her to
Yeah,
sing?
so
Yeah, okay.
I wrote the
Church.
melody and the lyrics and the chord progressions and all that, and they're going to, I guess, expand upon that with making it be like a a bass guitar, a piano, um, drum kit, and maybe some horns and things like that, and make it sound a lot bigger and grander, and have Brit sing on it instead. But yeah.
Very cool. Very cool. And see, the future is bright. We have Pony is still fucking kicking in 2021, and we love to see it. Oh, mad, mad, mad. Let's put our hats on and look back at your time in the scene. What do you think the impact Pony has had on you as a person and as a musician?
Well, as a person, if I didn't find ponies, I probably would still be single.
Oh, same.
How ironic.
Same, brother.
Yeah. And I suppose as a musician, I probably wouldn't be as advanced as I am now. I've had 10 years to try and figure this out in the public space, and I've had a whole heap of other people, other musicians who are you know as good as me, or sometimes even better than me, be able to give me advice on what I'm doing wrong and what I can do better. Like a song that I wrote with it was the cover of Open Skies that I got Francis Face to come in on that again, and I sampled a handful of the earlier, like the original Open Skies and also his Wide Skies. Um, with that, I just lost my train of thought. I'm sorry, I completely lost my train of thought. What was I saying?
You were talking about how like being around musicians who are sort of as skilled as you are, better than you. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So I was trying. I just didn't have that oomph that I was after, and then I sent it to Faulty, and it's like, what's going on? What am I missing here? You're saying, bro, where's all the rides? Where's all the hi hats? And so I chucked them on, and then it popped. It worked.
Yeah, and
So that's an example.
yeah. Just collaboration and community. Collaboration and community. Oh,
Yeah.
so important. Do you have a proudest accomplishment in the fandom?
I suppose being able to play made up your mind in person, or in 2014 and in 2019 were really fun to do, and that was good. I suppose also seeing other people make covers and remixes of the songs that I made is always really fun to hear, and really makes me feel like I'm making an impact. So um, I've got a whole playlist on my channel actually of just other people interpreting, if they do like a cover, or they um, you know input it into audio surf or whatever. I just add that to the playlist because I really enjoy seeing that happen. So I suppose that's something I'm proud about. Um, oh, I just thought of something just then. Winter Wrap Off was the first time that Fenning had rapped. So
Okay, sorry. So we're blaming Winter Wrap Up for fanning. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. So
So it's all your fault.
that was the first time he ever rapped.
Yeah, cool. And yeah, to be a launching pad for someone like that, I think that's really special. And
So yeah, I guess I'm proud of that.
yeah, that's awesome. All right. Last couple of questions. What's the future going to hold for Evdog?
Yeah, so I have a handful of songs that I've produced and not uploaded to my channel. I should probably get to that. And I have a handful more songs that I've written but haven't produced. So I'll still be doing stuff here and there, and putting stuff onto the channel and onto group albums and things like that. That's the plan anyway. I don't feel like I'm going anywhere. I've never really left the fandom, and I kind of found it silly when people do that, because then they come back like a year or two later and act like nothing ever happened. So yeah, I'm not going away. I suppose maybe I'll also do some stuff in like some other fandom music, that like when something shows up. I've I've done a few other songs in, I think it was like um, there was a song for Welcome to Night Vale. There was a song for Doki Doki Literature Club. There was a song for Magica Magica. So, you know, when the inspiration arises, I might do something in a different fandom. But I'm still interested in doing pony music. It's enjoyable. It's fun. It's still got the community around, and I can learn from them. So, yeah.
Fuck yeah. Very cool.
Hmm.
All right, final question.
Yeah.
So every episode, I ask guests who they want to see interviewed next. Do you have any guests that you'd like to hear interviewed on the show?
You're gonna regret asking that question, because I made a list.
Well, it's all going on the document. It's all going on the document.
Okay. So a handful of people, I guess, it might be harder to reach, but they still would have interesting stories. Pinky Guy, he was like a DJ and screamo kind of artist early on. He was a really friendly, really charismatic guy. Feather, I don't know how anyone would be able to reach them nowadays, but if you can, that'd be great.
I've emailed
Stable
Feather.
Free, because Stable Free. Oh, okay.
Didn't get a
Yeah,
response.
if you can get a response, that'd be great. Okay. I think I might still have them on Facebook, but I don't think they're interested in ponies anymore.
We'll talk later.
You know, handful of other people like Kuroshia and Meals were really big back in like 2014 time. Who else? Like Stormwolf. Stormwolf's still around now. They came back just like a couple months ago and released a cover of
just for Remix War.
Let Your Mane Down. So
Yep.
yeah. So they might be around to talk and share their stories. Who was Glitchhog, who then became Avenir, who then became Strobe. Interesting guy. And Cherax Destructor. Cherax Destructor actually was walking around 24 con giving out mixtapes.
Wow. Oh, I'm guilty.
So,
I'm guilty. I did that.
All those people.
Yeah, cool.
Some people probably easier to contact. Freewave, absolutely get Freewave on here.
Okay.
Freewave was instrumental in he was doing Brony Musician Directory way early on, before you were thinking of doing like archiving. He was already into the archiving, and he was instrumental in doing Remix War 8, I think, and a handful of other Remix Wars later on. And he was doing the whole the Meracy project, which was like a ponification of the Smiths. And he was involved in a lot of things. So he will have a lot of stories to tell.
Half of my research comes from all of his sites.
And I'll just briefly list a handful of the other people.
All right. Rattle them off.
Details, but So as well as all those people, probably yelling at cats but I doubt you'd be able to get him. Oliver the Coder, Replacer, Automatic Jack, Macon, who ran My Little Remix, West J, and Ensign D. I think those people would have stories to tell that'd be interesting.
Yeah, fuck yeah. Well, I'm gonna have to re-listen to this episode to write all them down.
Yeah,
But
good.
I recognize a few of those names, and I like vaguely recognize like, oh yeah, I know that's an Australian artist. But I'm gonna have to do some research into a lot of those because
Yeah,
yeah,
but a few of them
some-
ended up just kind of fading out part way.
yeah.
So
Mad. Well, cool. I think that brings us to the end of the episode. If people enjoyed the music they heard today, where can they find more?
So I've got a YouTube channel, Evdog Music. I've got the SoundCloud. It's not very active, but it's still got stuff there. There's a handful of other songs that haven't been released onto my YouTube or SoundCloud that you might be able to find on the Status Sugar or Vibe Ponies, I think. But I'll be uploading them to YouTube soon. I do have a Bandcamp, and that has a lot of my earlier, like 2012 era music on there as well. So and that's also Evdog Music. So that's mostly where you can find me.
Fuck yeah.
I think I also have a Twitter. Yes, I do have a Twitter.
Yeah.
And once again, I think that's also Evdog Music, so it's pretty consistent around the board.
Very, very simple. Well, in that case, go and show Evdog all of the love. Hopefully we're going to hear some more music soon. I'm very excited. I just love it when an Australian releases some music. It brings a joy in my patriotic heart. Yeah, sweet. So thanks everyone for listening to another episode of Brony Music History. You can find me on Twitter at RockFoxDJ. You can also suggest guests to me there. I write all guests down, even if it takes me a long, long time to get to actually interview them. Like every guest gets listed down, regardless of how big or small they are. And yeah, if you're listening on YouTube, there's an audio feed. If you're listening on audio, there's a video feed. Just find me on Twitter. That's all the links are there. And peace out, motherfuckers. I'll see you next time. Goodbye.